I'd like to talk about the importance of the colour green in its relation to England, Britain, and overall the Anglo-Celtic Isles. It's by far the most dominant colour in Britain, in our wonderful Isles. And I knew from young that it meant a great deal to me. It became obvious whenever I left England that there was something missing. There's many reasons for green being the dominant colour, which I'll discuss, but whatever the reasons might be, I'm just relieved of it. And I think that green is a heavily overlooked colour in association with England. There are hundreds of shades of green, which are very, very prevalent to the human eye, to the eyes of the animal kingdom, actually. So if you just look up here, you'll see different shades. And then pan all the way around and you'll see multitudes of green staring back at you. The main reason that we see so many shades of green is because of something called chlorophyll. This is the main pigment in the process of photosynthesis. This is why Britain and the plant world is predominantly green. What it does is it takes the red and the blue light from the sun, hides it from our eyes, and instead leaves us many shades of green, which I feel is fantastic. I personally believe that there's something spiritual within me and the colour green. I believe it's ingrained within me, and I know that others will feel the same. And whether you acknowledge it at first or not, sometimes you realise later down the line that when you're too far away from greenery, something just feels wrong. And when you come home, it seems to repair. You seem to repair. Things seem to get better within your mind. So green is not just a colour, it's a part of us and an integral part of nature itself. Green sits in the middle of the human visible light spectrum, which means it's the easiest for our eye to pick up. So it has a very soothing effect. It has a very calming psychological effect. So if you feel that you actually are healthier among greenery, it isn't just because you like the colour, that's nature itself. That's a real thing. And as well as this, as well as it being calming, it's also a colour that we pick up the most because of predators, especially in places like Britain. Green would be their main form of camouflage. So not only is green the colour that rests easiest on our eyes and on our minds, it's also the colour that we most recognise to avoid danger. Green also is a representative of life in general, even in some of the ways that people might not at first think of. For instance, moss, mildew, algae, things like this are forming life and new forms of life therein. So if I just now go and fill a puddle somewhere in a load of soil, eventually greenery will grow within it, and therefore life will be drawn to it. Green is a life source, and that's why in folklore and in the past so many people used green as an important colour to represent life or just their clan. So it's no coincidence then, in my belief, that I am so in love with the colour green, and that I feel that it's part of me and part of us that come from the Anglo-Celtic Isles. Another fascinating reason that our isles are so beautifully green is down to their geographical location as a European archipelago. England, Wales, Scotland and Ireland are also named the islands of the North Atlantic. Britain and Ireland sit in a realm that's exposed to moist winds mixed with consistent warmth from the Atlantic Ocean. This creates a uniquely wet and temperate climate that maintains lush vegetation all year round. Due to the fact that the climate of the Anglo-Celtic Isles rarely faces extreme heat or freezing, the likes of grass and moss can basically grow undisturbed. This makes the region perfect for pastoral farming and works as a life source to a huge range of creatures. Therefore, the climate also affects us, be it how we see the world around us or how we form as individuals and, of course, as a collective. So I've been to a few places around the world. I've seen some very, very dry climates, and however gorgeous they were, however fantastic it was to see the different types of plant life, to hear the sea, to see the sea clashing against the rocks that seem so much different to where I'm from, there was something missing. And I noticed early in life that it was an abundance of the colour green. You'd see the odd green bush here or there, but there was nowhere and nothing that made me feel at home, like being at home. And people might say, well, obviously, because it's not home. But there's lots of people that can move somewhere and just instantaneously feel at home. But even when I was in green spaces abroad, the shades were somehow different. It just wasn't the same, because these islands are an integral part of my character, my psyche, my innermost being. So you could offer me anywhere else in the world and I'd still just want to come home. And that's probably why I'm so in love with the rivers, the greenery that grows off that, why I've always loved forests, the ponds and all of the green within it. And of course I love all the other colours, the browns and so on that make up England and the beauty of the world. But I must return to the subject of this video, which is the colour green. And if someone said to me tomorrow, we need new flags, there's got to be new flags, for me it would have shades of green in it. And people will say, but maybe not, because Ireland have already done that. Well, what's wrong with that? They recognise the significance of the colour green. And I think that that's something that we as people in England and across Great Britain should do. As I said, I remember sitting in various countries, and I'm one of them people, I tend to get homesick. 2 weeks is too long for me. After about a week, I start to pine for home. And there's this strange sense of Englishness within us where we dread being at home, but we dread being away from home. We dread going home, but we dread being away from home. And it's only when you're away for long enough, if it's in your heart and soul, that is, some people can just move and never come back. I'm certainly not one of them. And as I've said elsewhere, it's the grittiness of the green of winter, the hardships, the cold, the damp, when weather isn't like this, that makes Britons what they are, which makes us somewhat stoic or comedic in the face of our problems. But the combination of those winters with the summers creates something so special within these lands. And I hope that if you have watched this or listened to me, you agree and that it resonates with you. Because I didn't just make this video for the sake of it, it's something that I truly believe.